Welcome to the Hooch, where the only place more messed up than your hosts is the barracks on a Friday night or the VA. So get ready to stand by for your weekly dose of toilet humor and shenanigans from your fellow veterans, Coy Mack and Michael Grizzled Grunt Harris.
Everybody, you got Coy Mack here and the one, the only Michael Harris.
What is going down, America?
It is going, man.
We got we have our regulars in the house. Good to see you, Teresa, BB, Shorty, Janet. Thank you for showing up.
I just saw this video that just kind of epitomizes the way that the administration is, and I got to share it real quick because why are the way that you are? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why are you the way that you are? So, like, apparently, Biden during the APEC meeting just like randomly gets up and hangs out with Xi Jinping, like, for nobody knows why. He just like gets up and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? How's it going, friend?"
You know why?
And he's like, he's touching me. Why is he touching me?
But think about this. Here's something that I always think about. You know how for years and years, at least as long as we've been alive, they've always talked about how China was an adversary. If Trump talked to China, Trump is bad.
Yep.
And these people are over there hunky-dory. They gave him the red carpet when he came to America. There's flags flying everywhere. They treated him like he was a celebrity on American soil. I don't get it. It's all a game, man. Xi Jinping.
It is a game, man. It's always been a game, and it'll continue to be a game. And it's just the way that things are. And I hate that that's the way that things are, but they are.
Well, the beauty about this game is that a lot more Americans are catching on to it. A lot more people around the world are actually catching on to the game. And they don't talk about this is going on, but that term, the Great Awakening, is real. That is something that's really happening right before our eyes. The only reason people don't think it's happening because it's not all over your TV that it's happening, but it's happening. It is happening. So don't worry, America. We're taking our republic back.
That's kind of what it is today. Like the Israel-HAMAS war has completely fractured the United States in terms of political parties, because like this is one issue that just like makes everybody lose their mind, right? Which we're going to cover later in the show. We're going to talk about Ben Shapiro and Candance Owens going at it, and then you also got Hasan Piker and Ethan Klein. I almost forgot his name for a second. Ethan Klein have a show together, and you have Hasan, who is definitely pro-Palestine, and you have his Jewish co-host and his wife, who is an IDF veteran, and he's saying all this ridiculous stuff. We'll get into it later. But first I want to start with the funny videos, as we always do, because we have to start things lightheartedly. I just wanted to show you that Biden video because it was just so topical. There's another video. I was deciding on whether or not to cover this or not, and I couldn't decide if I did, but there's another thing. Well, along with that story, so the APEC meeting that happened in the U.S. was in San Francisco, and you have Gavin Newsom, who's like, "Yeah, we cleaned up San Francisco because that's exactly right. These world leaders were coming up," and then everybody's like, "Wait, you could have cleaned up San Francisco this entire time, and the only reason you did it was because all of these Asian Pacific leaders were coming to San Francisco for a meeting?" And he's like, "Yeah, because that's exactly what it is. That's what we did. We did exactly that." Out of his own mouth, like, they don't care about you. Gavin Newsom doesn't care about you, even though he's going to be the pick after Biden drops out. Yep, he doesn't care about you, not one bit.
Sure doesn't, but they sure think they do.
Yeah. Oh, and also that's coming in news today. Jimmy Carter's wife passed away. I don't know how you feel about her or him. Really kind of forgettable, like, as a president, to cause a lot of issues. Kind of like Biden. Like, he used to be the worst president in the world, like in American history, but now it's Joe Biden. So
prayers for the family losing a loved one. But if we pull up the stats on how many Americans died today,
I'm sure there's tons of Americans have died from fentanyl and other reasons. Anyway, so here's the first one. Yeah, let's just watch.
Oh,
wiped out, sir.
Oh
Okay,
my
so
God.
the question is this dude wrong for not stopping?
So, as fast at the speed he was going, could he have avoided it?
No. I mean, he probably would have injured himself had he.
Go back and look at the timing. Just look at the time the kid jumped out to the time that he was running. I think he tried to avoid it. You'll see it.
Yeah. Because let's go a little further back, right about there.
He'll try to shift his weight. You'll see it. You see?
Yeah.
He tried to
that's
shift.
what it was.
He tried to avoid it.
Tried to shift out of the way. So he moves. You can
And
see
he even jumped.
He's going in this direction, his hips moving in that direction, and the kid moves in the same direction. Instead of running back to his mom or his parents or whatever, he ran further into the field.
Mm-hmm. And then you see him lift up his leg, kind of to jump over. Look,
he tries.
He tried.
He's trying to vault that kid. Look,
he tried to avoid him, and he pushed him down at the same time.
Yeah, he was not trying to hurt him. So I don't think the runner's in the wrong. I think this is any parent's nightmare, really, of like watching your kid just get like chunked down like that. But it's like at the same time, it's like kid runs out there. You should have been running out there to grab him too, to get him out of the way.
I mean, how fast?
I can't really blame him.
How fast do you think he was going? About maybe what, 15 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, maybe.
Yeah,
15, like maybe that. 15. And try avoiding a car at 15 miles an hour. You're and the car doesn't have time to react. So
anybody that's been in a situation where you've had to run really fast for a long period of time, like you can't just recorrect yourself midway when that's happening that fast. It just doesn't work.
No, you can't.
Speaking of being athletic, I found this next video that's absolutely stellar. I wish I had the fortitude that this man has. Fortitude. Anyway, I forgot to bring it up. Hang on. Oh man, you've seen these ones, these kung fu practitioners, right?
Oh yeah.
That should give you an inclination of what I'm doing too.
Fake.
We don't have bodybuilding genetics, so you can only show strength gains.
Yeah, no. I would never do that.
Oh man,
you gotta have a lot of faith in your inner chi to do something like that.
I got lots of faith in my
now,
testicles.
Do you really think maybe it's a show, man? Like you can't trust some of that stuff because I don't care who you are. Your twig and berries can only take so much,
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah. But good on him if he can do that.
I wish I could do that, man.
I don't. I care about.
I wish I had enough testicular fortitude to like be able to do that. Because like I wonder if he could still take a hit, or if it's one of those things of like I can swing it, but I can't hit it. You know what I mean? Like I can swing, but I can't hit.
The question you have to ask is why? Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know, man.
Like, put it on your tongue. Really show us. Tie it on your tongue and see if your tongue can do it.
Tie it to your tongue, my friend.
Yeah.
Tie it to your tongue. No, it's ridiculous. But okay, so to wash away your disgust for ball swinging, dude, I want to introduce you into highbrow your mama jokes in nerd fandom. These are really good, by the way. This creator has done a stellar job. So let us watch and enjoy it together. Oh, no sound. Hang on.
Your mother is so corpulent that she can't be seen all at once with a palantir. Your mother is so ignorant she searched Elrond's cupboard for his copies of Dianetics. Your mother is so large that she gave Ungoliant the meat sweats. Your mother is so vast that to fix his eye on Rivendell, Sauron has to wait for her to get out of the way. Your mother is so wanton, all the Rohirrim made for her gap of Rohan. Your mother is so stupid, she thinks Bag End is a contraceptive. Your mother is so ghastly, Tom Bombadil saw her and cried. Your mother is so vast that in the Battle of the Five Armies she was two of them. Your mother is so large that much that once was has been lost behind her. Your mother is so nasty she has a tattoo that reads "Speak, friend, and enter" in a language I will not utter here.
Oh, good old your mama jokes, man.
Oh man, I miss good your mama jokes, man.
We can't do that no more. Kids be ready to jump
man.
you. 15 kids will jump you over one mama joke. Back then, man,
right?
I remember when I was in high school, we used to call it bagging back then, but now they call it roasting.
Yeah.
And we used to like all meet up in the cafeteria before class started for breakfast, and we used to sit in there and roast each other. And sometimes, people got a little amped up, but it built that thick skin.
And it should. I miss the days when you could do stuff like that, and it was all in fun and people didn't take things personally. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's always somebody that takes things personally, but at least like back in the day when you were ragging on your friends, you knew you were still friends. Nowadays, it's like, I'm going to ban you on everything.
Oh my God. I mean, people get offended by anything. Like just the type of water you drink, it offends somebody. The type of dressing you use, it offends somebody. How you cook your food, it offends somebody. So people are always offended. So the way you live your life is, mind your business and don't worry about if people get offended.
Yep.
Who cares? It is what it is. You said what you said. Write it down. Take a picture.
I meant what I said.
Yep.
But yeah, like Shorty brought this up. Did you hear about the girl athlete that refused to fight the male? I believe it was boxing. Yeah, I heard about that. It was a Canadian boxer. She got saddled with a fight she knew nothing about, right? So she goes in there. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna have a fight. It's a transgender chick," and she's like, "No, not doing it. Just refused. Like, no." I was like, they just jumped it on her and said, "Hey, your title fight's for this," and she's like, "Deuces. I'm not playing your game, man."
It was a chick that thought she was a man?
No, the other way around. The only way it ever goes. When have you ever seen a chick who thought she was a dude?
Oh, so the man that thought he was a woman had to fight a man, and he said no.
Yeah, exactly.
Let
me find the article.
Huh, interesting. And you're right. You don't really see it the other way around too much. You know what I mean?
Never. You will never see that.
Yeah, he said no because he wanted to go in there and pummel on a woman. He knew that was an easy win. But they said, "No, you're going to fight a dude." He's like, no, I don't want to fight a man.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Just like, nope, I'm not doing it, sir. I had another video I was going to put. Let me bring up this article so we can all take a look at it together. I saw it, but I didn't think I was going to bring it up today. But since you brought it up, we might as well do it. Let's do it. So, female boxer refuses to fight trans opponent in Canadian championship match. So, a female boxer in Quebec withdrew from provincial boxing championship last month after being told without notice that she would have to fight a male-born transgender opponent. So, there you go. That was your answer.
All right. So, that's a she now, was supposed to fight a real she.
Yeah. As always. Like Fallon Fox and that whole
And
bit.
The real she said no.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the way it should be then.
Yeah. It said no. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly that. It said no.
Good
I'm not
job.
doing it. We're not doing this. I'm not fighting a guy. Because like honestly, like if you're for women getting punched in the face by a dude, then like just go to certain areas at night in the city and you'll find that if you really want to see that matchup, dude. Like seriously.
Right. And something, we've talked about this before. I forget how many months ago. And we talked about this. There's always this thing about domestic violence, right? No one should be putting their hands on anyone, period. But unless you're defending yourself. You're defending yourself, of course, protect yourself. But when a man hits a woman, that's like the lowest of the lowest of the lowest thing you can do. But if a man puts on a wig and says he's a woman and he hits a woman, yeah,
it's perfectly fine. As long as there's money and a title to be gotten from, that's perfectly acceptable. Yeah. I will punch this
sense.
lady in the face as long as I get a pretty belt.
Yeah. Make it make sense. It makes no sense. It's like some Twilight Zone stuff. That's what do you call an oxymoron?
Yep. It's like I will hit this lady not for free, but I will do it for money.
Yeah, think about a guy that's married. He's an abusive husband, and the cops come and get him. He puts on a wig and says, "I'm a woman." What are the cops going to do? Well, it just sounds like two women fighting. You know what I mean?
Sounds like two women fighting, right? Like that's it. It's like that seems like a skit out of somewhere, right? It's like they're getting in a fight, and he just like does a little slap to her, and he's like, "I'm gonna call the cops," and they call the cops. He's like, "Well, yeah," and he turns around, and then all of a sudden he comes back, and he's got this long blonde hair, and he says, "What are you gonna do now?" Like.
I mean, that's pretty much how it is. It's just giving men who are cosplaying as women the right and the money, to take their frustration out on a woman. Something that they've probably wanted to do their whole adult life. They're just like, here's how I can do it. They probably got mommy issues. They probably hated their mom. So the way that they get back at their mother is by acting like a woman and going in there and beating on women. Needs to stop, America and the world. Needs to stop.
It is insane. I don't know why people accept that and why they keep doing that as a thing, but they keep doing it. I don't know why.
All right.
So, moving on from that, since that was an impromptu thing, I wanted to do one last video before we got into our topics. And then Susan had a question. You probably know this one. What does the gold fringe on the American flag mean?
I don't remember. It has something to do with the gold fringe. Usually they have the gold fringes. I know Joe Biden has them usually behind him, and Donald Trump did it. It's something with a status, but right now I don't know. We'll get back to that on another episode.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up because I don't know either.
Yeah,
off the top of my head.
We have topics. Pay attention, people. Focus.
Maybe if it's one of those things of the Admiralty thing, like that's that's what it
there's something significant about it that is something, but I forget what it is.
Speaking of flags, here's the next video. Do you remember any of the details you've had to be in where you had to do like all the ceremonial BS?
Yeah, many times.
Yeah, and then you have military discipline at all times. Like this would be really hard for me if this happened. And it slowly goes up, and this dude next to him is trying not to laugh. Look at his face, dude.
One of the hardest ceremonies I had to do as a drill sergeant, I had to do the so I had to do a color guard for the Columbia, South Carolina St. Patty's Day parade, right? So, I was the American flag because I was the commander. And then I had 3 other drill sergeants with me. I had the American flag, the Army flag, and the South Carolina flag. And it was windy as hell that day. So, imagine carrying an American flag or an Army flag with streamers and everything else, and the wind is whipping. And you're trying to keep your formation and march and stay straight, and the wind is just, and your arms are shaking. That was painful.
The military discipline it takes to do a parade is absolutely astounding. Like, people don't understand. They think that, oh, look at that, a military parade, it looks all pretty and cool. It's like, you know what? I feel sorry for those guys. So every time I see like any of those giant parades that like Russia, China, or like North Korea puts on, I'm like, I feel sorry for every single one of those guys. Like, I really do, because I know that is not fun.
No.
They had to do all the inspections. They had to make sure all the uniforms are good. They had to pay all the money for the tailoring and the dry cleaning. And then they had to do all the practice for weeks. And then
the practice before the actual ceremony.
Right. And you don't want to be the guy that F's it up. You do not want to be that guy.
Especially those, like, when it starts warming up, depending on where you're at, when it starts getting really hot. And then you're out there at a certain time after PT. You're practicing for this ceremony. You're sweating. It's hot. And then you got to stand there. You better not swat a fly off your face. You better not move. And then people drop because it's so hot. And the discipline to not move and just let them fall, it takes a lot.
Yeah, it does. It really does. I'm looking for a video because I want people to understand, if I can find it. Oh yeah, here's a good one. I won't do the sound for the video, but like, it's just a general demonstration of what can happen when you're doing one of these ceremonial things. Is passing out, like the dude just dropping. or slipping or anything. Like that happens a lot more than you think it does. Like a dude just dropping out because he locked his knees and he passes out, because that's one of the things you're not supposed to do. You could be standing there for hours. Do not lock your knees, because all that blood's going to get locked up and you're just going to face first. And you're going to be that guy that faints in formation and never hear the end of it.
Yeah, they always say
in a ceremony like that.
They always say, don't lock your knees, don't lock your knees. And you always get that person. And then they have like a detail behind the formation that usually in America, I know in the Army at least, you would have like the first sergeant and a platoon sergeant in back of the formation. Anybody that falls out, they run in there and drag them out and take them in the shade and give them some water.
Right.
And nobody breaks, nobody moves. He falls, you just go in there, you pick him up, carry him out, and nobody even flinches. I mean, when I say nobody even pays attention, nobody flinches. It's just
boop. Yeah, you gotta keep
that. You just stand there and just, oh shit, who is that? Who is that? Everybody's like whispering, like, who is that? Who fell? Who fell?
Who's the guy? Who is the dude?
That's Robert.
Jesus,
oh
dude.
Shit.
Yeah, no, you never want to be that guy.
No,
like never hear to the end of it. So, the guy I do want to be though right now is Alex Jones, because he just released a video game. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Dude, I went to try to find the trailer on YouTube and they've already delisted it, like completely banned it.
Of course they did. That's YouTube.
Yeah, so like Alex Jones has released a video game that is how do I say this? It is Metal Slug, but for like base right people. Like that's what it is. Like this thing is so insane. I watched gameplay footage of it today. Man. And it is insane.
So where can you find it?
You can find it at the official website, right?
At the InfoWars?
I don't know. I'll bring it up in a second. But I want everybody to watch the trailer of this thing. It is it's cool. Like, don't get me wrong, it's cool.
First came Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Super Mario Brothers. And now the ultimate retro nostalgia throwback game. I present to the world Alex Jones's New World Order Wars. They're turning the friggin' frogs game. I'll eat your ass, you Nazi scum. Let's free the Patriots and defeat the globalist tech geeks.
We are going to defeat the globalists very bigly.
This game is mostly peaceful.
Yes.
I'm going to lower the world's population. Oh, big deal. I'm taking you down, rapist.
I did not have sexual relations with that saxophone.
Download it now at AlexJonesGame.com, because as we all know, anything badass gets censored.
Yeah, we'll put that in. We'll put that in the chat and
it's censored, dude.
Give you guys something to play with tonight. You know,
make
it a Thanksgiving gift.
That is so funny. Like seriously, like the fact that he's still going, even with all the things that he's facing, like the lawsuits, the payouts that he's got to do, like everything. He's like, I gotta make money. What can we do? Let's make a video game. Like, I gotta pay for these lawsuits, man. Like they charged him like the GDP of a small country.
Yes.
Like that's how much they like hated this dude. And like he didn't even like, it was the same thing they did with Trump, right? They did summary judgment. They didn't even actually go over any of the evidence or even let him have a defense. They're just like, hey, he's guilty. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, once they do that to you and they take that amount of money from you, it's no holds barred after that. You just say, I lost it anyway, so I'm just going to go for what I know. They're going to have to either put me in jail or kill me. Yep.
Yeah, it's so crazy to me, though, that they do that to these people. Like every single time, man. And so we see it with Donald Trump, we saw it with Alex Jones. Like it's only a matter of time, right? Like they do it to you. That also being said, they released all of the January 6th footage, which we're covering tomorrow on the Savage Patriots.
Yes.
But just as a kind of segue into our next thing is that everybody is lying to you at all times, period. Like these
How many
people are lying
times?
to you.
How many times, Coy, have we said on this podcast and the Savage Patriots, do not believe anything that is coming out the mainstream media's mouth. Use your discernment. You know, take it in, you know, analyze it for yourself, and then you should be able to use those critical thinking skills to see through their bull crap. And a lot of us knew it was bullcrap. We were calling it bullcrap when it happened. We was like, something don't seem right about this. Something don't seem right. And boom, look, we was right. Just like Alex Jones was right about the gay frogs.
It turned to the freaking frogs gay.
It's true.
So yeah, I mean, it was right and then wrong at the same time. It was like they were pumping chemicals into the creek that was making them change. So like he was right, and then like there's a jar out there with tons of money where Alex Jones was right, and everybody's just not paying attention to it. Like he might sound crazy, but some of the things he says are true. They just sound batshit crazy. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a character. You know what I mean? But
he plays a character.
His delivery may be a little, off, but if you listen to the message outside the way he delivers it and listen to what he's saying, you would understand that the dude is not dumb.
No, he's
a
not.
lot of stuff he was saying is true. This is why when it came to his, since we're on him real quick, I know we're moving on. When it came to them, when it came to them taking all that money from him with that Sandy Hook thing, they knew there was some truth in what he was saying. If it wasn't true, why would they take all that money? Why would they go to that extreme? You know what I mean? If there wasn't some little bit of truth in there.
The whole thing with Alex Jones and his case, the same thing as what it is with Donald Trump's case, is all about taking their revenue streams away from them. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's all about destroying them financially. They're trying to financially kill them. That's exactly what it is. You can say it's not. It's about justice, and it's like, no, it's not. You're trying to destroy these people and their livelihoods. That's it. You're trying to take away their businesses. So that's what they wanted to do with InfoWars, is they were trying to shut down InfoWars. That was it. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Donald Trump. They're trying to shut down the Trump organization, so Trump can't use the money to run for president.
Yeah.
If you think it's about anything else, you are dumb.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing with people like Alex Jones. I remember when Alex Jones first came out years ago. I was like, who is this guy? Who is he? All he did was create a spark. You might have chopped the head off the snake, you think? But he's got little he's got other snakes that he created from his movement that have spread out, and they're continuing to preach whatever message he's preaching.
Yeah.
But you're never going to stop it. Just because you try to take out Donald Trump and what he's doing, more Donald Trumps are coming up that are just like him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're never going to stop that movement.
Yeah. Like Vivek, right? Like he's a young dude. He's going to take up the mantle. He's already pushed himself as being the guy that's going to take up the mantle right after Trump. So like, we'll see how, I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm just saying he's poising himself to be the replacement. All right. That's what he's trying. Ron DeSantis isn't doing it.
No,
he's done, dude. Like I forgot we were going to cover that on the show, but now since we're talking about Ron, I'm going to talk about Ron. Do you know about the Bootgate?
Yeah.
Does I wonder if chat knows about Bootgate. Do you guys
platform
know about
boots?
Bootgate? Yeah, the Bootgate. Let me look that up so we can point this out. Because Ron DeSantis has been accused of using high heels in boots.
He's supposed to be like 5'10".
That's what he says, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
They keep, and the problem is that he had tons of times to like play it off, including when he was on Patrick Bet-David's podcast when he gave him a pair of boots and he didn't laugh and think it was funny. He was defensive about it. And it is insane that they aren't able to get these people to stop.
Like, why is it so important? You know what I mean? If you're a short guy, own it.
Right. But that's the thing. Is like people, no person under a certain height has been elected as president. That's the thing, is there's a height advantage when running for the presidency. That's why they do it. That's why he's doing it. So like the point being is that people, believe it or not, think that he's wearing platforms. Okay, yeah. That's just what it comes down to, and people believe that, don't believe it, whatever. But they, like, even Politico wrote an article. Like this is a legitimate article from Politico. This is the headline: 3 expert shoemakers say Ron DeSantis is probably wearing hype boosters. That was the headline they went with. And the way that he walks,
yes, look at
it doesn't make sense. There was one video here that was doing the explanation for it. That from TikTok, that's really good. Let me bring that one up. Oh, that's the sound. Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know. We're all gonna know, Ron. We're all gonna know that you wear platforms.
Just own it, man.
I know, right? Just
Own it.
own it,
Just
dude.
own it.
Okay, so here
They're not gonna know.
Here it is.
Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know.
But yeah, you see it. Look how he walks, and then the other. Look, that is not how a boot fits.
No,
that is not how a boot fits. Does anybody believe that?
Yeah, I can imagine Ron going home and crying after people were making fun of him. He looks like a crier. Like
he does look like a crier. He can barely smile.
Yeah, he looks like he cries. He probably went home and cried, and his wife wiped his ears and gave him his little, pacifier, his bippy, and put him to bed, rocked him to sleep.
Dude, isn't? I'm trying to find the video. There was a video at the debates where he's trying to walk off stage and he freaking trips because he's wearing his high heels.
That's right. He's probably just got them too. He's probably haven't worn them since before he started running for president.
No, because he got these advisors that told him, you got to be taller, Ron. You got to be taller.
How do you plan on going against Trump? When Hillary went against Trump, they made her podium a certain height so they look the same with the camera angles, and people are going to figure it out. So yeah, you're right. His little aide told him, like, you can't stand up next to Trump. He towers over you, so you have to look taller.
You have to look taller. Yeah. So like this is from the debate, right?
Oh,
and he
where's he going?
And did you see it?
Yeah.
Look how his heel catches. That shoe is empty.
Going.
There it is. See, like you can see it. Like you can plainly see it that this dude is wearing
platforms.
Staying alive. Like since she slowed it down on this video, like it like look, they covered it on that one, but yeah, like it was like, you can see how that shoe just goes flat at that edge. It doesn't make any sense unless he's wearing platforms.
Is it DeSantis or DeSantis? How does he say it now?
DeSantis.
Run.
I don't know. One of those.
Sanctimonious DeSantis. Did you see him?
The sanctimony.
The sanctimony. Did you see the fall? It was great. He's trying to be tall like the Don, but he can't do it.
He's trying, dude. He's trying. But everybody knows Ron DeSantis' campaigne's done.
And
he's not as serious. Look at Tim Scott. Like he was done after that debate. He was like, nah. Everybody looked at Tim Scott and go, why are you here?
Well, Tim Scott,
what are you doing here, man?
We called that on the Savage Patriots too, or the Hooch. I forget which one, but we talked about Tim Scott dropping out because he's trying to run for what, governor?
Yeah,
probably. He's trying to run for. Yeah, I think he's trying to run for governor. So he was like, "Man, I'm not going up against Donald Trump. I'm not."
It's like you weren't going to be president to begin with. Like you might have been in like cabinet pick, but you weren't going to be president. That's not happening.
They need to get let's not get off topic. Yeah,
that's fine. We're off the rails today. Let's do it. So since we're off the rails, let's go to the next thing I wanted to bring up, which was the B. This is legitimate, not the B. In a diversity push, Target offers new black paraplegic Santa ornament. There you go. Do you feel represented, Michael?
I'm not a paraplegic. And
I know, but you're black, so
I'm not black. I'm not a crayon color. I am melanin.
Oh man, yeah! Look at these, all those black paraplegic Santas.
I don't even care. I'm like, and not being mean that I don't care, but like stuff like this, I'm just like, okay, what did we gain from this in society? Like literally, how many people are going to actually go out and buy this and hang this on their tree? Maybe a paraplegic, maybe somebody that is a wheelchair, maybe somebody that has a kid.
People who are into funny things are going to buy this. That's it.
Oh yeah, well that'd be great. I'd make fun of it. I had a Special Olympics on my Christmas tree.
I would get Elf on a Shelf pushing the Santa off a ledge. That's what I would do.
I'm buying
Right?
it then, just for that
Yeah,
reason.
you would just pair it with Elf on a Shelf, just so you could put it around the house of the various Santa being pushed off things.
Yes.
And then
That's a
there would be a
great
bunch of people
idea.
making videos about it and say it's racist.
I'm gonna
Because
do
the
it.
elf is white pushing a black Santa off the ledge.
I
That's
can't
what they
do
would
it.
say.
I
That's
can't
what they
do
would
it.
do.
I can't do it. That's
It's
bad
funny
karma.
to me, man.
That's
It's
bad
funny.
karma. No.
But it's like I said, it's still one of those things that like shows you how ridiculous this
Yeah.
timeline has gotten, dude. Like
I want to go back to the old one.
Would you if I told you 10 years ago that Target would release a black paraplegic Santa, would you have believed me?
No.
Yeah.
No. I would have been like, stop lying. No, bro,
Yeah.
Michael, I'm from the future. And I'm telling you. And I'm like, you're lying.
There probably is, Susan. There's probably a trans Santa somewhere.
gonna
If
be
we look
one.
hard enough, we could probably find it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Not
mean,
that I want.
no. If you think about it, there has, I'm not going to say they're trans, but there have been women that have dressed up as Santa.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that has happened. So, and gay Santas, I've seen that too. I've seen women dressed up as Santa. So that's possible.
But would they make like a Mrs. Claus that's a paraplegic in black? I mean, I'm just wondering if they're going to do like a pairing like they usually do with those kind of Christmas decorations. They're going to pair up paraplegic Santa.
Now, what I haven't seen is a trans Mrs. Claus. That's coming.
That's going to be the thing, man.
Why does Santa and Mrs. Claus both have a beard? It's the world we live in, son. It's the world.
Anatomically correct trans Santa. I don't even know what that would be or what that would mean, but yeah, there you go. That's oh, this world. So to get onto the main topic for the evening, since we're in, Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens are fighting. I've got the clips of why they're fighting. So we can kind of go over it ourselves. I think reacting to it's going to be the best way to go about it because like there's some good points and bad points for both of them. So this is the headline coming from the Rolling Stones. By all means, quit. The Daily Wire's biggest stars are fighting. So they're disagreeing over what apparently she said on one of her shows. And she was quoting a verse. I don't think they have it on this article. And his response to her was, Candance, if you feel that taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means, quit. That's rough, my friend. That's rough. You are taking one of your biggest stars that works with you and just airing out your dirty laundry on Twitter. Like, why would you do that? Like, I know Ben Shapiro's not a dumb person. And he should have known that wasn't going to be good for PR reasons. Like, just period. Like, you can disagree with each other, but telling one of your stars to quit openly on Twitter is a bad idea.
Yes.
A real bad idea.
And a lot of what Ben doesn't know, that a lot of people think he's kind of iffy anyway. You know, especially in the conservative circles, they've always thought Ben was a little, off, something about his views when it comes to conservatism. He's a smart guy. I get it. He talks real fast. But Candace Owens is a beast, man. And that's one person you do not want to go up against. She has everything going for her. She's young. She's intelligent. She's black. She's conservative. And when I say black, I don't mean like the crayon. I mean what we're labeled as. And she's a woman. So trying to go up against her, he will lose that fight. He will.
See, that's what everybody thought until it got to that point where he's telling her to quit. Like, everybody was initially thinking maybe it was just like a little PR stunt or whatever it was. But it wasn't. So here's the interview, I think, that started all of this to begin with, and her points of view of what made him get so upset.
There are a lot of people in America that are sitting here going, okay, Well, can you answer why Jews are so special? Because as white people in this country on university campuses, we are being taught that we are not allowed to have a voice. We have had to endure exactly what you're talking about, BLM. We've endured much worse than you have because it's in the actual textbooks. We are being told that we are systematically racist, that we are born wrong because of the color of our skin. And if we say anything, we'll lose everything. This is the typical experience on white campuses. So people, this is not whataboutism. This is like actually what we have been fighting for years. So it sort of arrived as, I think, for a lot of Americans, a surprise when they're saying, well, now that it's about Israel, which is something that's overseas, we need to, hand these university professors, we need to do something about this issue. Why weren't we trying to correct course on this issue? Why weren't donors pulling their funding out of these universities? Why weren't these same things being said for these last, I would say, 8 years of rampant BLM, white man can't do anything right, actively being taught in the classrooms? So there are people that are asking that question now. What I have said is that explicit calls for genocide, which was stunning to me to see that in Congress, are completely wrong. It is frankly crazy. I have not weighed in on the IDF's response in the same way that I have consistently said through every war, Ukraine and Russia, I don't want to be involved. I have said I don't want to be involved in Israel and Palestine, all these conflicts. My consistency seems to offend people, right? But I haven't made a single tweet or a single comment on IDF's response in Palestine. I haven't said a single thing about that. I have said it is always sad when a child dies. And the lack of humanity that I have seen from both sides has been very troubling for me. But to say that I have to weigh in and suddenly wave an Israeli flag and say things that, because you decide that you get to use my platform because it's personal to you, how is that fair to people? How is that fair? And then to go a step further and to suggest that it might be anti-Semitic, which is basically silence is violence, as a leftist tactic, to me feels very extreme.
This is not about a geopolitical dispute between Israel and Palestine. This is about an ideological mission to rid the world of Israel and the Jews. That's what I think people misunderstand.
Yeah, well, Jews live very comfortably in the United States of America, so they're not going to be, obviously Jews
lived comfortably in Germany before World War, before Germany too. They did. Doctors, lawyers,
I really struggle when people start using, things that have happened in the past that are abhorrent, like slavery, to say that, like, if this doesn't happen, then slavery is going to be back, or if this doesn't happen, then it's going to be the Holocaust too. I think there's a lot more meaningful chatter and discussion that we can have. We don't have to resort to that kind of,
History repeats itself if you forget it. You have to be conscious, and Jews especially. Unfortunately, I'm a grandchild of all 4 of my grandparents are Holocaust survivors.
So what do you make of the Holocaust survivors and the Jewish people in New York City that are protesting on behalf of Palestine? That's a great question.
I think that there's a very strange, bizarre, it's the same people that you would condemn as the people of the white people who bowed down to BLM protesters, who hate themselves and feel a certain sense of guilt. They feel a certain sense of, I think a lot of the ideologies on the woke left, to the extent that things are good and prosperous and virtuous, they condemn as bad. And the things that are broken, morally and depraved, they see as good. This is the lens by which the far left views things. And I think these Jews that happen to be politically far left and maybe are not that connected to their Judaism, or maybe culturally Jewish, but don't have a strong Jewish upbringing. Not to say that politics and being a Jew go hand in hand with the same political identity. But my point is, just like the white people who in mass were bowing down and feeling guilty about themselves simply for being white, or people who feel guilty for being successful, or the anti-capitalists who say anyone who has something is necessarily bad. Some people buy into that sort of masochism of hating themselves to gain favor with people who want their destruction.
No, I think he's right on that. I think they both have really good points. So this is the interview that got her in trouble with Ben Shapiro, right? And to me, what she's saying isn't wrong.
Yeah, we've said it on the show many times.
Yeah. Both of them are saying basically the same things we've said on both the Hooch and the Savage Patriots, right? The exact same things. Is that they weren't there to defend white folk when the left was coming after them, and they expect that sort of same level of defense just because the Jews are being attacked now.
Yeah, and to Candace Owens' point, we've talked about, again, on the Savage Patriots and the Hooch, that this conflict has been going on for decades, years, thousands of years. All of a sudden, you see Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens now going at it. But I'm pretty sure Candace Owens had the same viewpoint when this happened last time.
Yeah.
So why now? Why now is all this infighting and people going at each other about, who they support? Because the same people that support Israel and Palestine, whatever side they pick now, are the same people that supported it a year ago, or the same people that supported it the year before that. And you didn't see all of this nonsense that we have now. So what is so important about the time now when all of this has been going on?
It's because it's Palestine and Israel. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
people lose their minds when it comes to Israel.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
It is Palestine and Israel, but it wasn't Palestine and Israel the last time. And the same two countries going at it a couple of years ago. And a couple of years before that. And a couple of years people dying. Right? A couple of years before that. So my question is, why such the uproar in 2023 when the same thing has been happening for so long? You know what I mean? And it just blows my mind. I don't understand, what's the difference between 1990 or 2010 to now? What's the difference in the conflict? Because it's the exact same.
It's the same ideological hypocrisy that Ben Shapiro is showing when he's saying we shouldn't give money to Ukraine, but now that it's Israel, we should give all the money in the world to them. Exactly. It's like, look, dude, I get that you're not only a Jew, but a practicing Jew at the same time. Like you are a Orthodox Jewish man. I get it, bro. You got skin in the game with your family there and whatnot. But at the same time, you're also a hypocrite because you choose to live here and not there. Like if you really were that far into being a Orthodox Jew, you should be in Israel with the rest of them.
Yep, you could join the IDF, go over there and fight. And we said it yesterday on Savage Patriots. I was like, don't sit up here, Ben Shapiro and all these, on both sides. And I'm fair and impartial. I don't pick sides in this conflict. On both sides, you guys feel that strong and you want to argue and fight in America over a country across the water. Pack your bags, go over there and put your money where your mouth is. Prove to the American people that your voice actually means something in that country. You can't sit on your couch and be an armchair quarterback over here and scream and yell about what's going on over there when you're not even willing to give up your livelihood, and your money to go over there and fight. So go sit down, Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, you are more than comfortable. Like same thing with certain people here when they're defending Palestine, right? You are more than comfortable being here. You don't want to live in Palestine. You will defend Palestine to the day you die, but you will never live there. Nope. Same thing with Ben Shapiro. You will defend Israel to the day you die, but you will never live there. And it's just the hypocrisy of both of these people. Like this is what's fracturing the United States, is this ideology of we have to be so extreme on either side, and both of these people are wrong.
Yeah,
like being that extreme on either case is wrong, and it's not going to change anything.
And I don't want people to get us wrong. We've said on this show multiple times, and I keep saying that we have empathy and sympathy for the people over there, the innocent people, women and children, and innocent people losing their lives over this nonsense. Yeah. You know what I mean? No one wants to see kids die. No one wants to see innocent people get killed over this nonsense, over whatever they're fighting for, which we know it's for resources and religion. But no one should be dying over this.
Yeah.
So all the people that want to fight, and you stand that strong in America, and you're that about that fight over there, pack your bags, buy a plane ticket, and go over there and fight. I'm pretty sure they'll take some of you guys. I'm pretty sure Israel will take you.
No, there's no reason that Ben Shapiro wouldn't be welcomed with open arms in Israel. Like honestly, like he's a prominent Jew. He would totally make it in Israel.
He's a mouthpiece. Yeah, he won't do it.
He would probably even get in office somehow. I don't know, man. Like,
he won't do it.
He would probably do pretty well. He's just never going to do that.
Well, you know that speaking
is too comfortable here.
I'm speaking candidly. But everything he talks real fast.
It's I get it. It's like don't get me wrong. I'm ribbing on him, but like at the same time, is like you got to be morally consistent with the way that you speak.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Is like, dude, I get you have a raw nerve right now when people were trying to give you a wide berth at the Daily Wire, but you are crossing the line with your hypocrisy. That's the only issue. So here's what he said in response to that clip. So we watched the first clip so you understand the context. This is his response.
Everybody, he talks fast.
During this administration. Without a doubt.
Let me try to get the audio.
The question is about Candance Owens. I think her behavior during this has been disgraceful. Without a doubt. I think it's she's works for my company. And I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable.
Okay.
That was his response to it.
Okay, one thing I have to ask. Has Candance Owens ever come out and said she's pro-Palestine?
No.
Has she ever come out and said she's pro-Israel?
Mm.
No. So pretty much her neutral stance makes him upset. It upsets him that she's just neutral and she's calling it like it is on both sides. But what he wants obedience, and she needs to pick a side. And that's the problem with America. America, you can't just not want anything to do with it. You have to pick a side, and this is what they want people to do. They want you to pick a side. And if you don't, you're some ism, you're some obia, you're whatever they call you. Why can't people just not get involved like Candance Owens? I don't want to get involved. Like Ukraine, I don't care. I don't want to get involved. It's not my business. I'm not over there. Israel, Palestine, I don't want to get involved. It's not my business. Anything outside of the United States of America that's not affecting me and the people I care about in our country, or Americans that are overseas that aren't truly affecting them, it's not my business, man. Let that country figure it out. Focus on, put your voice into this country to fix this, Ben.
Exactly. But that was the point that Candance Owens made, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was saying that where were the people talking about all of this that they were facing for the last, almost 10 years now against white people? Like it's the same thing. Like, it's like, oh, we need your defense now that we're being attacked. It's like, yeah, but we were too. Like, where were you then? You expect absolute obediency to Israel now that they're in trouble. It's like, what about us? Like where were you? It's like that one homeboy that wants to be your friend only when there's trouble. You know what I mean?
They only call you when they need something, or when they're drunk. Yeah, that's usually it.
They need help, right? That's what it is. It's like every time they need help. She was on Tucker Carlson this last week too, and I'm trying to get the clip where she's talking about her response after seeing his response, because that the one we saw before was hers, and then now we have to get her response to his response again, so we have the greater context of what's going on.
And while you're looking for that, what drives me crazy about American people sometimes is the American people think we're obligated to run to the rescue of every country that's in trouble. Then our government gaslights us by saying, well, that's our friend, that's our ally. But if they're our friend, how come when our country was going through X, Y, and Z, we didn't hear anything from these countries? We did it on our own. We did it on our own. Where was this country when we was going through this? Where was this country? They didn't send aid. They didn't come here to help our people. They didn't come here during Hurricane Katrina. They didn't come here during 9/11. They didn't come here during the Boston bomber. But yet the minute something happens to them, we're supposed to all jump on, help America. We're all supposed to get in on the fight. No.
Yeah.
I care about this country. I'm American.
Like the Europeans, man. They're the same thing. They're the same way. We get to subsidize all of their universal health care and then make fun of us for not having it. It's like, yeah, because our country subsidizes everything that you take for granted. Like you're not paying for your defense. America's paying for your defense, right? The amount of medical technology that is developed in America subsidizes your medical technology, right? It's like the American people pay for your defense and your advanced healthcare, right? We pay for that because it's American dollars that are going into that research. You know that, but they still rub it in your face and say, "Hey, I'm glad I'm not American because I got my universal health care." It's like, yeah, because your country doesn't spend any money on defense. If you spent the same amount of money on defense we do, you wouldn't have it either.
That's right.
But whatever. That's the way they go.
And that's a great point. A lot of Americans out there that don't understand how it works and needs to listen to his point. The reason we can't do certain things, like he said, universal health care, because you guys are so down with us giving money to other countries. All that money that you guys praise, billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel and Africa and every other freaking country in the world, that you guys are praising, that we're sending it to them and that we're helping them and they're pulling on your heartstrings. That's why we can't have the things we have in America. This is why we have a homeless problem. This is why we don't have universal health care. It's because our money is going somewhere else. And then we're putting all our money into defense, and we're going over there fighting for these countries when our own country is getting torn down from the inside out.
Yeah. Or Maui.
Or Maui. Exactly.
Or Maui.
Where were they? Ask yourself that. Where were they?
Exactly.
You were wrong. I haven't seen it. But to call somebody, quote, absolutely disgraceful, particularly a coworker, seems like a pretty big step. What? And I really don't know the background here. What is that about?
You know, there isn't much of a background. I saw the video when everybody else saw it when I woke up.
No one warned you about it.
Nobody warned me about it. It looks like maybe he didn't know he was being recorded. It looks like it was some sort of a private event. I got no clarity on the issue that he was particularly speaking on. And in what was said, I can't respond to it beyond what he's saying because it's just ad hominem attacks. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's not, we disagree, or I don't think she's correct, or maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, exactly. And so I can't respond to it on a level of intellect because there's nothing that he has expressed in that, at least in that short clip, that he fundamentally disagrees with in terms of what I said. But I will say that I'm not going to respond with the same ad hominem attacks. Yes. I don't think it helps further discussion. And if that was me that was caught on a video saying that about colleagues that I work with, I would be embarrassed. So I think that the video speaks more to Ben's character than it speaks to mine.
Has he texted you to apologize or explain or anything?
No, nothing. I haven't heard a single word. It just was sort of something that he said. And you know what? Ben and I have many disagreements, so I don't think that that's particularly something that's interesting. We disagreed on the COVID vaccine. We disagree on Ukraine and Russia. He has taken virtually every stance that has been the opposite of mine on every issue over the last 5 years. So I don't think that that's particularly remarkable.
Vaccine. Really, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, he was pro the COVID vaccine. I was anti the vaccine. We were all idiots for not getting the vaccine. So that's totally fine. I am totally open to people having a difference in opinion.
Right.
I would hope that amongst colleagues that it would always be a civil disagreement, and I would never in a private event stand on a table and talk badly about Ben.
It's just it's a little weird. So he was on the left on those three biggest issues of our time, is what you're saying?
He has converted his opinions. He's accepted responsibility. He said, I was wrong about the vaccine.
Oh, good.
He is, obviously pro pharma. His mom's a doctor. And I say to people, I'm very aware of my perspectives on big pharma, and I talk about it on my show openly. And I think that that's a tremendous credit to the Daily Wire that they allow a difference of opinions. But I would, as I said, hope that it would remain respectful.
And it didn't. It didn't. This is before the tweet calling for her to quit, by the way. Like this, she had this interview before.
Yeah, and it does say a lot about Ben. It's more of his ego that made him say what he said. It's its ego, because there could have been some civil discourse between them two. They work together, so it could have been like, hey, let's call. I got to call you. Let's talk about this. We can come. I didn't agree and all this, but he had to get up there without her knowledge, like she said, and pretty much throw the ad hom insults out at her, talk about her, and she wasn't even there to defend her point. So, shame on him for that. But like I said, everybody has the right to say what they want to say. It's just a certain way you say things, especially somebody you might consider a friend. I would never do that to somebody that I was real close to. If I had a disagreement, I would say, hey, man, I didn't agree with that comment you said, what you posted. But most of the time, I don't care. You can post what you want. I don't care.
That's actually a really good segue for our next person, because we're going to talk about Hasan Piker. Prominent leftist streamer, if you don't know who that is. He is somebody that Cenk Uygur is his uncle. He used to work for the Young Turks until he got a streaming career. He's a Nepo baby, right? He's a Nepo baby who pretends that he's for the struggling man. That's Hasan Piker for you. And he recently, this is the headline: Young Turk streamer backs Hamas murder of babies and says the terror group have a legal ground to slaughter infants if they're settlers. Now, this is on a podcast, H3, called Leftovers, with a Jewish man, Ethan Klein, whose wife is an IDF veteran. And he says this with no irony in his voice as a legitimate argument. So this is a clip.
I know exactly who he is. He's a freaking idiot.
Because Palestinians, and this is going to sound very radical and possibly very violent, but this is a matter of law and maybe even if you agree with this, a matter of morality, Palestinians have the legal ground to violently seize back their own homes from the settlers. This is a reality, and that is precisely the reason why they have to exist under endless occupation in the West
You know
Bank.
what? And that's why I say if it was settlers, that would be a lot more understandable. Yeah. But let's not obfuscate. Okay, I understand what you're saying, but this dude just called babies militants.
No, I understand. And there are baby settlers as well. But there are baby settlers as well. There are babies in the settlements.
But the babies that killed were not.
I know.
Okay, so
here's now that we establish that. Yeah. No, hold on. Now that we establish that, the other school of thought here is that all matter of Israelis living on Israel proper are they're also doing the exact same thing in the eyes of some. I do not agree with that because I don't think that is a reasonable solution, and it's not realistic anyway. And that,
yeah. There you go. That's it's hard. It's hard to not take that for what it is at face value. It's really hard.
He said what he said.
He said,
you know what I mean? And if for those of you that watched the Savage Patriots yesterday, we talked about it. We talked about the mindset. You know what I mean? This goes a lot deeper than some land grab. This goes a lot deeper than settlers. It's been said many, many times that the reason for this, and one of their tenets, is to pretty much get rid of the Jewish faith or Jewish people. So it just rolled off his tongue like it was nothing. Well, babies are settlers. What? They don't have a choice. They don't make the decision to live there, you freaking idiot. They're babies.
But that's the ideology of the left, though, right? It's like all people that are born white have inherent white privilege, right? Like they're evil colonialists that need to be eradicated. That's the way they believe. Like you can swing it any way you want, but that's the way they believe. So the other thing that goes along with this is showing the fracture on the left, right? We just watched the fracture on the right. This is the fracture on the left. That people who thought they were friends now realizing they were aligned with people that hate them.
Yep.
And the cracks are starting to show. In a lot of places in America. Like we thought things were pretty cut and dry. You were right or left. And then all of a sudden the Jewish population on the left woke up and go, oh my gosh, all these people hate me. And they had no idea. They thought they were friends. They thought all these people were friends. And you saw Ethan, man, he looks terrible.
Yeah,
dude. Like I posted a clip of him about a year ago on my TikTok. And he did not look like that. He looks like he is having a very hard time. And this next clip really shows it. So like he was on a stream with Hasan and his chat was inundating his chat with like the most vile things known to man, especially for a Jewish person to hear. And it was for 3 hours straight. And he couldn't take it. Like he just couldn't take it.
Think you want me to be totally honest?
Yeah.
No kitty gloves. Okay.
Fuck you, bro.
No,
that insinuation is so stupid, man.
No. Please don't get mad at me. I'm gonna be
100%. Moron. You just talk down to me the whole time.
No, absolutely not. I think you're a very smart person, but you do get a little emotional on this issue.
Gloves that's on. Tell me. I'm not even a religious Jew.
No,
I have no stake in the game, and this is coming from.
I know.
And he just walks out. Just walks away. Like, that guy is supposed to be your business partner and friend. Right? And that's the way that they treat you. I don't know how else to point that out to people, that this ideology is destructive in and of itself. Like, they keep saying that the right is destructive. But this fight with Hamas and Israel is destructive. Like, it's tearing things apart, man.
I personally think political ideologies in general are very destructive, very divisive. Yep. You know what I mean? And we said it many times before, is that like we need to get rid of all these political parties and all this right versus left and this versus that. Get rid of that, because that's one of the main things that causes division in our world, in our country.
Yep.
One being politics, two being religion. I'm not saying get rid of religion. Let people, worship how they want to worship. Me, I'm not a religious doctrine follower, but I do have my belief in a higher being. But I just don't buy into it, because that's one of the things that causes way too much division. I refuse to follow any ideology that calls for the murder of anyone. And I'm not saying Christianity does it these days, but if you go back in time and if you look at the history of religion, it's been wrapped around war, murder, conquering, and all this other stuff. So I'm not going to follow a man-made religion. I don't need to in order to get to heaven. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that. So I think people can do what they want. Same with politics. I don't follow a party. I don't care about the Republicans. I don't care about the Democrats. I follow an ideology, how I live my life and the things I want. I vote with my pocketbook. You know what I mean? Like we said before. But I don't buy into this, all this. I'm going to pick this side and pick this party and pick that party. It's useless to me.
Nope. And this is another news item that goes to prove the point, is that they had demonstrations outside of Democratic, like the DNC headquarters in Washington, D.C. had pro-Hamas demonstrations outside of the Democratic National Committee's office. Like, that's how insane things have gotten, is you have the left actually going after the DNC in Washington. These people are supposed to be on the same side, right? And so, like I said, like it's this whole thing is fracturing the United States, like absolutely fracturing it, like both left and right. It's not a particular issue that isn't touching everybody. So we see it with Candance Owens and Ben Shapiro, and then we see it with Hasan, Piker, and Ethan Klein.
And maybe it is kind of a good thing when it comes to politics, because at the end of the day, I think all Americans are in agreement. Not all, majority of Americans are in agreement that the political parties need to go.
Yeah.
So, whether it's left or right, however the left does it, however the right does it, we operate two totally different ways. I think the right is more logical in the way they go about things. The left is more emotional. Divine masculine, divine feminine. That's what they are. But it could be a good thing, because now it's letting these political parties on the right and left know that we're tired, man. People are sick of you guys. So hopefully it wakes them up. And I just want to get rid of the parties. And we said this before. Let's just get rid of them.
We talked about that on the Rumble episode.
We don't need them.
Not Rumble. It was Friday, right? We talked about that one.
We talked about
political parties. Yeah, it's like, what do we need to do in order to change the system? It's like you've got to get rid of the political parties. We have to do ranked choice voting, and we got to get rid of the political parties, or nothing's ever going to change. Like these people will never let go of power. Period. No. And they like it the way it is.
Yeah. It's the old guard, man. And they've talked about the old guard many times. The old guard doesn't want to get rid of that power. Once they get rid of parties, they have no power. And they know that. Lobbyists, who are they going to get their money to when it comes to lobby? I mean, there's no PAC, there's no super PAC. I mean, where are they going to get their money from? So everything's
you got to get rid of the PACs. They got to
get rid of the super PACs and all this other crap. And they realize there's a lot of money in these parties because they're clubs, they're social clubs. They're like the Freemasons, pretty much. They're all in it together, and they all just pick sides, and they deep down they all friends and they love each other, and they have dinner at each other's house
together on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So you think it's like,
come on, you really think they hate each other? They don't. Yeah. Don't buy into that.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was too. It was worse than J. It was worse than J6. Yeah, it was. It really was. It's funny, but we'll be covering J6 tomorrow night on the Savage Patriots at, what is it, 6:30 Eastern is when it is.
Yep, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, 4:30 Mountain.
Yeah, so like we have all the zip codes.
We have all of them covered.
Time codes covered. Yeah,
we're all in different time. We're all in different area codes. Coy Central, Jay Lee's East. I'm Mountain, Marlins Pacific. So
yeah, we're spread out on the
we're all over the place. We're all over
the time. So that's gonna be it for the show tonight. I was gonna cover the David DePape thing, but we got kind of sidetracked with some of the other stories. So we covered the Bootgate thing, which is funnier to me. Like the David DePape story is just kind of like here. I can summarize it for you real quick before we go. David DePape is the guy that beat Nancy Pelosi's husband with a hammer, who was probably doing a drug deal with them. And then they decided, his defense lawyers decided, hey, you know what you should do? Blame all of the right wing voices on YouTube and Twitter and say it was Donald Trump's fault. That's what the trial is right now. Like he got convicted, obviously, but he's like, yeah, just blame Donald Trump, and we'll probably do less time for you. That's probably what it would ended up being. Just like, even though this guy is a illegal Canadian, by the way, like everybody kind of glosses over the fact that this guy was an illegal Canadian.
Yeah, deport his butt too. Get out of here. You're out of here.
He was
Yeah,
he was an illegal Canadian who attacked he had no skin in the game to begin with. Like, he wasn't even a U.S. citizen. He was just some random Canadian dude that beat one of, like, it's so ridiculous, dude. The whole story, man.
Yeah. Those politicians are sick individuals. They got a whole bunch of skeletons in their closet. Well, I'll try to sit up there and act high and mighty to the American people. Just know that.
Yep, exactly. Anyway, we'll be live Sunday at 6, as always, and then catch us tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern time for the Savage Patriots. You can find it in our link tree through YouTube at the bottom of our page if you want, or you can just go to the Savage Patriots on YouTube. Find it there. You can go to all the other places. The usual suspects are there. Anyway, Michael, you got anything else before we head out?
Hey, enjoy your Thanksgiving. We're going to see you guys during the week, but for the Hooch crowd, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Make sure, you show gratitude to everything you have, everything that it's coming to you every single day. Show gratitude, because gratitude puts out a frequency, and a frequency, what you put out, you get back in return. A little spiritual knowledge for you. But yeah, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Eat up good. Enjoy your family, and enjoy the shenanigans, because it usually gets crazy when you're around family.
Yep, it does. And thank you, Crazy Days, for that. And go happy Thanksgiving for everybody. And we will see you all tomorrow night at the Savage Patriots. Anyway, that's it for us to America. We love you. And we are out.
According to your Facebook page, we aren't friends.